This week's tip is about Intarsia, and this is an example of an Intarsia design. Intarsia differs from stranded work in that it's blocks of color, and the colors they're not stranded across. They're held individually. And here's another Intarsia design. And for as clean and as clear and as graphic as these things look on the right side, on the wrong side they can be quite a mess. And the reason is that in Intarsia, it's not a good idea to strand across maybe more than one stitch. So in this example, I need a ball of yarn for pink, and I need a ball of yarn for both sides of the diamond on the other side, because I would not want to strand across the diamond. You can do that, but it's going to have a different texture and it's going to be puffy as compared to the other work. And also, if I were stranding across this, that's going to leave a great big old loop that's going to get caught on things. So in this example, when I knit this, for something so simple and clean, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different balls of yarn in order to create just that simple design. Now, the biggest problem that you're going to have with Intarsia work is yarn management, because you do need a ball of yarn for all of those strands. And last week I showed you how to make these little center pull balls, and notice I'm not using my own advice here because I'm so sick of making center pull balls I could scream. And this is going to be a simple design. And basically, I'm going to do a little diamond. I'm going to work up to where I want my new color to start. Okay? And here's where I want my new color. And I'm going to pick this up off the floor. Now, I saw a great tip in Margaret Radcliffe's book, and Suzanne Bryant also included it in her article in Cast On, and that is, when you're starting a new color, have it on the right side of the work. And the reason for this is that it is so easy with all the strands of yarn that you get to pick up the wrong one and to keep knitting with it. And so as I progress, if I have this on the back of my work, I might inadvertently pick it up and try to knit with it rather than knit with the working end of the yarn. Now, oh God, George, I don't need any help. I go ahead and I just knit the stitch. And you can keep the strand on the back if this bothers you. But be sure to leave a yarn tail long enough that you can weave in. And now I'm going to join my other color, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to keep the yarn tail on the front, just so I know that that's an end, not the working yarn. But that's not necessary. If you don't like doing that, you don't have to. And I work the stitch. Now, I don't need to do anything special when I am starting. If it bothers you that you have these loose ends and that stitch is going to be large, you could tie a knot. But George, put it down, put it down, put it down, put it down. But I prefer to clean this up when I'm finished. And I'm going to go ahead and work to where my first stitch is. George, get lost. And sorry. The rule is that you bring the new color to the right and under the old color. Because if you don't do that, and I'll show you on the next row what happens if you don't do that, you get a hole. Okay, there's my old blue. And you can see that dealing with all these yarn ends, particularly when you have a cat who's helping you. Okay, here's my new color. I'm bringing it under and to the right of the old color. And I'm working to the end of the row. Why don't you go find something else to do, George? Okay, so you can see that I've got my 3 stitches here, and my first stitch is going to be kind of over large. If it bothers you, then just work with it a bit. And you could tie a knot, but be sure to untie those knots before you get much further. And here I am. I'm going to work to where I want my new stitch, and I'm going to bring my new color under and to the right. Now what if I didn't, on a diagonal, it's not as important, but if you're doing a horizontal line, if you don't, let's say that here was my old stitch and here was my new color. If I don't catch it, look what happens. I will leave a giant hole. And that's what you're trying to avoid by bringing the new color under and to the right. Now this is an interesting situation here. I have my new color is here, and I'm on this side of my diamond, and if I bring it, it's already on the right, and to bring it under I've got to pull my yarn over there, and it's going to be fine. On the next row it may look like it's going to leave a hole, but on the next row is where I will clean that up. Okay, and then okay, here's my new color, under and to the right. And I've always found working with diagonal lines, it's much easier to maintain the tension. Next week I'll talk about doing diagonals. Okay, here's another situation where my new color is already under and it's already to the right, so I just bring it over here, and there I go. And I just keep this up. And you can see that that's pretty nice. I can see that I've not stranded, and I have these kind of links where they are joined.